Hey everyone, welcome. I'm Dane, your host of the Rock and Metal Guardian. It is Fun Forum Friday once again, and today's forum topic is about bands who missed the boat on the right time to do a live album, or they did it incorrectly. So let's go ahead and jump right in. There's no particular order. The first band I want to talk about is Heart. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to present the name of the band, then tell you the live album that they put out, their first live album, and then what they should have done, and how many albums would have preceded the album that they should have done. You'll see. So Heart, and their first live album is actually half a live album because it's a greatest hits. It's called Greatest Hits Live. The first vinyl record, or the first half, I forget if it was a double or not, was just studio tracks that were greatest hits, and then the second half were live tracks. And there's a lot of good live tracks that are missing. So, and if you get it on CD, even that's abridged. So Greatest Hits Live came out in 1980. What they should have done is put out a live album after 1978's Dog and Butterfly. And then you would have had those first four albums, right? You would have had Dreamboat Annie, Magazine, Little Queen, and then Dog and Butterfly. And then you have enough or a large wealth of material to work from, and that would have been solid. When we talk about live albums, the gold standard is Kiss and Humble Pie and Grand Funk Railroad and Peter Frampton. They put out live albums after their first three or their first four. And for Heart, they should have put it out after their first four, not wait till 1980. And I think it would have sold better because you would have had much more live songs to choose from. So why they didn't go down the route of what Kiss and Frampton and so many other bands did in the 70s? I just don't get it. And that's what this show is about today, episode rather. Next is Judas Priest. When this originally came out, Unleashed in the East, kind of hard to say, right? When this first came out, you didn't have the bonus tracks here, which are Rock Forever, Delivering the Goods, Hellbent for Leather, and Starbreaker. I'm glad that they improved it, but still not long enough if you ask me. So what they should have done is, instead of making a single record, it should have been a double, and they should have put it out right when this came out, 1979. So it was the right time, but it wasn't a double, and that's a corrective. So it was the right time, but they did it incorrectly. So that's how Judas Priest qualified. You could have put, where's Dreamer Deceiver on here? Why is it? There's so many songs on Hellbent for Leather that could have been on here. There's not enough material. Where's some of the tracks from not Sin After Sin, Stained Class? That whole album's great, start to finish. You could have put 3 more songs from that album here. There's so many different things you could have done. So Judas Priest, Unleashed in the East. Now Metallica. Their first live album was Live, You Know What, Binge and Purge, 1993. Why wait so long to put out a live album? They should have put a live album out between Master of Puppets and Justice for All, or at least after Justice, so you have 3 or 4 albums like the Kiss or Peter Frampton gold standard, right? Kiss was 3 albums, right? Then live album. Peter Frampton was 4 studio albums and then a live album. Or, Rush was known in a notorious good way for the longest time, 4 studio albums, live album, 4 studio albums, live album, and then they did it again. They did that 3 times, and then they started putting out live albums more frequently. But so Metallica should have put out a live album out. They should have put a live album out after Master of Puppets, or at the least after And Justice for All. Of the 2, I think after Master of Puppets would have been better. You had enough. All those albums, except for Trapped Under Ice. All the songs on those first 3 albums are wonderful. So, anyway, go the Kiss route, man. Go the Kiss route. Next is Queensryche, Operation Mindcrime. Now, I get it. When they were touring for this album, they were not headlining yet. They were opening for Def Leppard. I saw them twice on that tour. When I finally saw them headlining, it was for the Building Empires tour. And so they played all their songs. They played a bunch of songs from all their albums leading up to and including Empire. It was called the Building Empire Tour. So yes, you're getting a good dose of albums from Empire. So you had They started with songs from their discography, and then they did this in its entirety, Operation Mindcrime, and then after that, they went back and did some more songs from other albums. Why not, instead of putting Operation Mindcrime as a single live album called Operation Live Crime, put that whole section in, do this in its entirety, and give us the other songs that you played during the Empire Tour. Make it a double album. So they did it they did it at the right time, but they didn't give us all the material that they could have. So I'm just saying. So it still would have been in 1991. All right. Next is Motorhead. No Sleep Till Hammersmith came out in 1981, and it was a single vinyl LP. And if you get it on CD, you get 2 discs. You get the original album that was on vinyl plus a bonus disc of alternate songs that they played or just alternate takes, like Train Kept It Rolling, depending on the version you get. They should have just do a live album. Go the Kiss route, go to Peter Frampton route. You've got the first album, you've got Overkill, you've got Ace of Spades. You have 4 or 5 albums that you could have done, and then you do the live album. Iron Fist came after. Oh, you have Bomber, so you have 4, right? So 4 or 5, like I said, you got enough. You could have played Ace of Spades in its entirety. Now, would I have want that live? Maybe not. But my point is, you had enough. You had 4 albums of material to do a double live album. Do a double live album. Okay, so Motorhead. This next one probably is the one that gets me upset the most still to this day, and that's the Rolling Stones. September 1970, Get Your Ya-Ya's Out. 10 songs. Jeez. Let me go back to Motorhead for a minute. You had 5 studio albums you had to work with. Sorry, 5. Now, the Rolling Stones, you had 13 studio albums to work with, and you give us 10 songs on a live album. Get Your Ya-Ya's Out is fabulous, but it's too short. Okay? Instead, put it out in 1971 and give us a double. Okay? It's that simple. Now let's talk about Rainbow. A double album, yay, when it was released, but they did it wrong. Here it is on stage. Here's what you get. Kill the King, medley of Man on the Silver Mountain, Blues, and Starstruck. Catch the Rainbow. So Catch the Rainbow is the 3rd song. The medley is Man on the Silver Mountain, Blues, and Starstruck. The 4th song, Mistreated, then 5, 16th Century Greed Sleeves, and then a 11-minute version of Still I'm Sad, which I like. Actually, I love it. Now, get rid of Mistreated. Okay, that's a David Coverdale song. I don't like the way Ronnie's voice does not fit with a blues song of that nature, or maybe blues songs in general. Drop that song. And if we look at the studio albums, let's start with the 3rd album. Where's Long Live Rock and Roll on here? You did Kill the King? Great. And where's Lady of the Lake? Give us those 2. Now, if we go back to Rising, and this is the one all of us complain about if you're a Rainbow fan. Where's Stargazer? I know they played Tarot Woman. Where's Tarot Woman? As you can see, this episode's kind of a rant. So give us Tarot Woman and Starstruck. All right. I mean, Stargazer, excuse me. They have Starstruck on there. And if we go to the first album, okay, we got Man on the Silver Mountain. Catch the Rainbow would have been nice. The Temple of the King would have been nice. All right, I'm just saying. So there's a wealth of material, and you had 3 albums to work with, and you give us this. You give us 6 songs. It's still a double album, but 6 songs. Come on, people. Make it a triple. Do something. All right. Santana. We get Lotus in 1974 of May, but the problem is there's no Greg Raleigh. There's no Neil Schon. Give us a live album after the first 3 albums. I like Caravanserai very much, but those first 3 albums as a whole and together are better than Caravanserai, if you ask me. Give us a live album in 1972 with Rowley and Sean. Okay, still a double, but, So we got cheated there as well. All right, 3 more. Triumph, Stages, 1985, December. Okay, still put it out in 1985, but drop Mind Games and Empty Inside, put it on A Sport of Kings, the follow-up studio record, and then give us songs like Ordinary Man. Why is that not on here? This is the CD version, which doesn't have Allied Forces, and in a previous video, yesterday's video, I mentioned that this has enough room on it. You could have left Allied Forces on here from the vinyl, but they chose to take it off. I don't know why. So Allied Forces is missing. Ordinary Man is missing. Some of the earlier stuff is missing. This is not acceptable. I like this album. I listen to it, but it's not acceptable. Okay? Give us the full live experience. Okay. And essentially what I'm saying here is, had these bands done what, in my opinion, what they should have done, the sales of your studio albums would have been higher, and the sales of your live albums would have been better. Anyway, now, after the Rolling Stones, this was the next one that really drives me bananas, and I don't get it. Van Halen, 1993, Right Here, Right Now. There's no Roth-era live album, aside from bootlegs, I guess, available. None. Strike While the Iron is Hot put out a live album after their fourth album, Fair Warning. You could have did it after Women and Children First, but the right time to have done it was after Fair Warning. You got 4 albums to work with. If we go back to Triumph, you had 7 albums to work with, and you give us, this. So Van Halen, back to Van Halen. You wait till 1993 to do a live album, and there's no Roth era live stuff. So put out a live album in 1982, a double live album in 1982. After Fair Warning, ride the wave of your success. That's what this video is all about. Ride the wave of your success, as Kiss did, as Frampton did, Grand Funk, Humble Pie, because that wave does not last. The wave would have been prolonged had you done what I'm suggesting here today. Finally, ZZ Top. It's like the Heart Problem all over again. You have Fandango. Okay, their first full live album is Live from Texas, 2008. And this is a band that was in its heyday in the 70s and then a little bit in the 80s with, the 2 albums, Afterburner and the one before that, Exterminator, with the cool Ford, on the 33 Ford or whatever on the cover, right? So Fandango came out. The Fandango is a live album / studio release. Mostly, it's got only, in the original version, you only have 3 live songs, and then there's the Judas Priest thing. Then he put out a new version later on that's got extra live tracks, but it's still not even half of the live and half studio. So Fandango, 1975, original 3 live songs recorded here in New Orleans, and then the remastered version has 3 more live songs from New Jersey. So only 6 live songs if you count the New Jersey remastered version. So this is, for the most part, still a studio album. Put out an album after your first 3, or no, I take that back. First 3 after Tres Hombres. If I'm doing my discography in my head correctly, put a live album after Tres Hombres, or at least after Tejas. Maybe even De Guelo, or when it came out in 1975. At the latest, but make it a double. These studio tracks here that you've got here, make that a separate studio album. So I guess overall, still put it out in 1975, but make it a double live album. You have so much material. Tres Hombres by itself could have been most of the set, and that would have been fabulous, because that's one of those albums from start to finish is just dynamite. So anyway, there you have it. That's pretty much today's forum topic, which is for the most part a rant. Wonderful bands who should have given us a double live album and missed the boat because they waited too late to put it out. And so they didn't ride the wave of their success, as I said, or they put a live album out and they didn't do it right, as in the case of Rainbow. So I hope you have a great day. Thanks for listening to my rant. Don't forget to click the notification for all upcoming videos, and don't forget to to click the like and subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching.